Welcome to Last Match Standing, the podcast where we review, relive, and rank the greatest wrestling matches of all time. As always, I'm Spencer.
On the final countdown!
And I am Kong.
And today we're coming to you from March 27th, 1994, from the Yokohama Arena in Yokohama, Japan. It's AJW's Wrestling Queendom 2. Aja Kong and Bull Nakano versus Akira, Hokuto, and Shinobu Kandori, episode 75.
75?
Snakes Alive, episode 75.
Yeah, how many things rhyme with alive, right? That's
More than 4, I'm sure.
Oh, that rhymed.
Hey, episode 75, guys. Can you believe it? We're 3/4 of the way now through season 4.
We're on the gold anniversary, guys. 75 years of podcasting.
Golden, isn't it diamond? Isn't 75 diamond?
It's
Did
75,
we talk about this last time?
I feel like we did. We did, and I have
25
so many regrets.
25 is 25 is silver, 50 is gold,
75 is diamond.
100
what is 100?
Platinum.
Who knows? Not me.
Not
Or maybe
me.
it's just precious rubies.
This has been an incredible, incredible ride, and I could not think of a better way to celebrate 75 episodes than going back to AJW that's given us so many bangers time and time again.
Anything with Joshi, I'm all over. I love Japanese wrestling. Well, I have a question for you. So
I have an answer.
In the past, if my memory serves me correct, didn't we cover an absolute war between Akira Hokuto and Shinobu Kandori? These women hate each other. What the fuck are they doing teaming together? And also, before you answer that, Aja Kong and Bull Nakano, these two have had multiple cage death matches.
Today, we explore what happens when combustible teams collide.
Combustible. Okay.
Can they coexist?
No. Well, yes, but no.
Listen, we have a lot to get to. These are 4 of our favorites, right? Is this Aja Kong's first time on our list?
Yeah,
This is the introduction of Aja Kong.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It's so interesting where this match falls on the timeline because the Hokuto Kandori match that we talked about, the barn burner that we loved so much, that's currently ranked number 10.
I was saying it's number 10.
It's number 10 on our list at this point. That happened in 1993, Dream Slam 1993. Bull Nakano's other spot on this list is against Alundra Blaze at SummerSlam 1994, just a few months after this match takes place.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that so fascinating? But I wanted to talk to you guys about last week's episode really quickly because I think this is the first time that we have covered tag matches in back-to-back episodes.
Oh, my gosh, you're right.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. If you recall, last time we did Best Friends versus Proud and Powerful.
God, I love that match.
Yeah,
the
parking lot brawl from AEW, our first AEW match, and we had a couple of comments. First of all, Ben on Twitter, we love you, Ben, you're the best. He said that match was very Def Jam Fight for New York.
Love it.
You know, he's so not wrong.
He's right.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. On Patreon, we had a couple of comments as well. Our esteemed ham champ, Dylan, said way too recent to be on the list, in my opinion.
That's fair.
I get it.
We kind of looked at that, but we also kind of felt like if we didn't jump into AEW, it was going to be too late and we were going to be done. Like, oh, no, we have to go back and talk about all these cool matches.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to get bogged down with AEW a little bit later. Not to say that would happen.
I can only really think of maybe two other ones that I would throw in there.
But
and I won't
it
feel
was
bad with two.
It was one that's been requested,
A
and
lot,
I'm glad we
actually.
covered it.
Yeah, it's a match that we covered. It definitely worth going back to listen to the episode. I think we had a lot of fun talking about it. Jen on Patreon also said, totally bummed at the placement. This match really spotlighted both teams' ability to switch gears from comedy wrestling to hardcore, and it was a damn good match. And Jen's not wrong.
And one thing that I didn't even think about this, and I just re-listened to it yesterday. You make your favorite joke about Chuck Taylor being a mechanic. He spends a lot of time in that match underneath a car.
I appreciate that deeply, and he does, in fact, look like a mechanic. I do not back down.
Charles Taylor, the mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we were very, I think, transparent about this in the episode itself, is we were unsure.
We were.
Right? We talked a lot about, does this match belong on the list? We ultimately decided that it does.
I think it did. Yeah, we put it at the bottom, and it might end up staying there. Who knows? We might find out. But I think I stand by what I said. I don't even remember what I said. I just remember at the time I was like, this is how I feel, and it's how I'm always going to feel. I think I said something along the lines of, I really appreciated the effort that that company would go through during the pandemic era to make things feel like or seem like they were normal, even though we knew they weren't.
And they found creative ways to do that, and I think
did.
this is a really good example of that.
They couldn't go and have like a big brawl in the crowd, so go do it in the parking lot. It's like they did a lot of stuff like that, and I always feel really bad when I'm praising one company. It sounds like I'm shitting on everybody else, because there at the time I'm like, yeah, I love AEW. I also like NXT. So don't come at me, because people have tried.
I think Ben summed it up, though. Very Def Jam fight for New York.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I love them for it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that. Again, we love hearing your feedback. That's the whole reason we do this show. So if you have more thoughts on that match or the one we're about to cover right now, definitely do that. Reach us on Twitter and Facebook at Last Match Cast. You can also email us at lastmatchstanding@gmail.com. We get matches that way all the time, and we love that. So, I mean, here we are, episode 75. We're 3/4 of the way through season 4, 3/4 of the way through 100 at this point, which is completely bonkers.
And hey, over on our Patreon page, we are all the way to WrestleMania 28 in our exclusive Patreon series, Last Mania Standing.
And as you all know, 28 is by far the best WrestleMania ever. I mean, nothing is ever going to live up to the unbelievable heights of that WrestleMania. It'll never be topped. Never again. It'll never, ever. That main event will never, ever, ever happen ever again. It's once in a lifetime.
That's right.
They would never do it the next year, and they would never tease about doing it the year after that. It would never happen. Ever. Ever. Ever.
But you're right. It's a great, great time to join Patreon for that reason. So many episodes to catch up on for Last Mania Standing. And we also have our last Trivia Standing series as well, where we...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we have some really, really fun formats for trivia challenges between the three of us, and also our last Patron Standing trivia series as well, where we invite our patrons on to do some trivia with us as well, and it's really, really fun.
And there will be more Jeopardy.
Yes.
Ooh.
Believe me, there will be more.
That. But here we are, guys. Episode 75. This is a match that we've looked at for a really long time, and it's one that I could not be more pumped to put on this list.
Man.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, no spoilers, but if I had to guess, it probably will rank higher than last week's episode.
I'm going to, just most likely.
I am very hopeful for where this one's going to go. I think it's going to go the distance.
It might surprise some people. And if you've never seen it,
It's on YouTube.
Watch it.
It's on YouTube. No excuses. Definitely. Hit play on it right now while we're talking about it, because, oh my God, it is phenomenal.
Yes.
So I'm going to take us back to, I know this match takes place in 1994. I'm going to take us back to July 19th, 1989.
Here we go.
Joshi legend Lioness Asuka retires from professional wrestling and vacates the WWWA World Championship, leaving a void in the world of women's professional wrestling. Who was going to step up and be the next ace of AJW and capture the most prestigious prize in women's wrestling history? January 4th, 1990. we skip ahead to Bull Nakano, winning a tournament in the finals against Mitsuko Nishiwaki. And Bull Nakano begins the most dominant WWWA World Championship reign in AJW history, holding the championship for 1,057 days.
Damn.
Let's pause here. Let's pause here
That's like 4 years.
to introduce the newest woman to make the last match standing list, like we talked about earlier, and that's Aja Kong.
Who, as we know, is the mother of Awesome Kong.
Right, yeah, right. That's totally kayfabe.
I mean, that's where
Not kayfabe at all.
That's where she got the name from.
Born Erika Shishido, Kong had a difficult upbringing. Her father was African American, her mother Japanese. So growing up, at the time period she was growing up, she was ostracized by her family, bullied by people at school for her mixed heritage. But she pushed through it all, was trained by the All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, and graduated as part of their class of 1986. She made her debut that summer and immediately joined the Dump Matsumoto heel stable.
The Dump.
Dump Matsumoto, fantastic, legendary Japanese wrestler.
I know, it's just a silly name.
Dump Matsumoto. The stable was known as Gokugaku. I had it right. Gokugaku Domai, and in English, that's Atrocious Alliance. Along with the tag team partner Nobuko Kimura. That's who.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's who Aja Kong joined with.
That's a name we might see again.
After the stable dissolved in '88 due to Matsumoto's retirement, Shishido and Kimura went their separate ways, but reformed in 1990 as Jungle Jack, who, if you go back and watch the early AJW around the 90s, late 80s, 90s, you will see some Jungle Jack. Formidable tag team, to say the least.
These names are so silly, though. I love it.
Oh, it's Joshi. Come on.
I know, but it's like when you hear it in Japanese, like, oh, yeah. And in English, oh, prefer the Japanese name.
Well, I mean, that's not fair. I mean, you've got all sorts of crazy. You've got the best friends. You've got.
Well, no, but you said Goku Gaki. I mean, that sounds awesome.
What's the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy? What are they?
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Express.
Before,
it's all silly.
before it was a boy and his dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take Jurassic Express over that.
So at this point, when the tag team Jungle Jack is formed, these two are known as Aja Kong and Bison Kimura. And they entered a 2-year feud against their former allies, Bull Nakano and her heel stablemate, Gokumon To.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the name of her stable. Bull Nakano stable. During their partnership, Kong and Kimura would win the WWWA World Tag Team Championship twice, and Kong actually lost a hair versus hair match along with her partner on January 11th, 1991. And, she sticks with that for a while, I think.
Yeah, so it's her and Bison versus Nakano. Oh, who's Nakano's partner?
I can't remember.
Oh, but I've seen the match. It's actually really it's weird because we watched a cage match that we thought was the best thing ever. And we're like, oh wait, no, this is the wrong one. I think the hair versus hair is not the one, but it's like watch
like
that one.
Something like that.
This one's a badass.
Aja Kong herself pursued Bull Nakano for the WWWA World Singles Championship throughout the early 90s. She failed on several attempts before finally achieving her goal on November 15th, 1992, ending Nakano's 3-year reign.
Oh.
These two monster performers were the most dominant in all of AJW for the first half of the decade, and in 1994 decided to form one of the most formidable tag teams in AJW history. Coming off of her career-defining performance with Ladies Legends Pro Wrestling's Shinobu Kandori, Akira Hokuto at this time is the top babyface in AJW and fully has her sights set on Aja Kong and the WWWA Championship.
She also has the best entrance theme of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Despite winning the Japan Grand Prix, however, Hokuto fails to capture the title due to a flare-up of a pre-existing knee injury. As we talked about last time, Hokuto is actually known as the Mummy. From all of the injuries, she's constantly taped up with something. But the thing is, her toughness is tried and true. No matter how many times she gets beaten, she refuses to give up.
Because she's the best.
Kandori is the outsider. right? She's from LLPW. She led the cross-promotional war against AJW.
She's also very scary.
With her background in judo, she's terrifying.
Oh, she showcases that judo background in this match, and it's something to watch.
And who remembers what other profession she has up her arsenal?
What's that?
Professional golfer. Down
Oh
the
my!
line.
Shut up!
Let's all remember.
Shut up.
Let us not forget.
I was waiting. I was like, oh, we talked for this earlier.
As if I was going to let this episode slide by and not mention that.
Did not. Call her what you will.
Badass.
Shinobu
That's what I call her.
Kandori
Golfer.
quickly
That's what I will
became
call her.
golfer. Shinobu Kandori, the golfer, quickly became one of the most feared wrestlers in the sport of Joshi.
Oh, for good reason. Just
So-
watch this match. You'll see why.
When you look at the most dominant forces in AJW, these 4 women are at the top of that list. But at Queendom 1994, the question was, can Shinobu Kandori and Akira Hokuto possibly work together after the war that they had against each other, the several that they've had against each other?
I'm going to make a reference to Cobra Kai.
Oh, boy.
So I have 2 answers. There's the short one and the long one. The short one is no. The long one is yes, but only because there is a larger threat. Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso hate each other. But whenever John Kreese and Terry Silver combined their dojos, the only way to win was to team up, even if we still hate each other.
And Paul, I think that's a really insightful point because that is the question. Even if they're able to somehow put their differences aside, they're going against what's widely known as the most dominant tag team in women's wrestling history.
Yep.
In Aja Kong and Bull Nakano.
The
This-
scariest tag team.
This feels, guys, to me very much like the 4 pillars. You know what I mean? When I think of these greatest Joshi of all time,
I think
there's a Toyota, obviously, that would not be included in that.
That's the only other person.
But there's Linus, Asuka, there's obviously some names that are not. But these, if you're thinking about some of the greatest women wrestlers of all time,
you're looking at him right now.
You're looking at a Mount Rushmore. These are all in that conversation.
Yeah, I think everyone we've mentioned, Kyoko Inoue, a couple of other ones.
Exactly.
But holy shit, these 4 could fit right up there at the top.
Right.
Oh yeah.
This is pro wrestling storytelling at its finest. And I can't wait to call this match with you guys. Or, break it down.
Yeah.
We're not calling it. That's something else.
That is something else entirely.
I mean, I would love to lay down a commentary track for this match.
Hey, we might as well just go ahead and spill the beans. We will be Spencer and I will have the opportunity to call some wrestling.
That's
here
right.
In the very, very near future. If you'd like to check out the Pro Wrestling 225 Facebook page, we have some really exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah,
Very
that's
exciting.
That's absolutely true. We make our live ringside commentary debut as actually just 2 days from now from date of recording.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. So definitely you can follow them on Twitter and on Facebook. And they post a lot of content there, too. So even if you're not located in the Baton Rouge area, which I know most of our listenership is not, there's plenty of really quality content to catch up on and watch online as well.
2% of our viewers are
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Gosh, this match.
Well, these entrances.
Okay,
Oh.
these songs are bops. I mean, they are not just oh, cool entrance themes. Let me put them on a playlist and listen to them regularly. Although I will say, I know we talked about Hokuto's is great, and it is.
It's so
but
good.
You convince me that Aja Kong's theme
Right?
song
Right?
is not being sung by Michael P.S. Hayes. You tell me, and I won't believe you.
someone was going to
I will not believe you. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA.
Oh, my
Baddest
God.
Street.
Wait,
the whole USA.
wait, where's Kong billed from?
Bad Street, USA.
Bad Street USA. The tension backstage already between Hokuto and
Oh.
Kandori in the pre-match interview is so heavy.
Don't even look at each other.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
It's beautiful.
If you don't know what you're if you don't know who these are, if you've never seen them before, if you don't know that they're about to team up, it looks like almost a we're going to have both competitors that are facing each other doing
Yeah,
an interview.
it
That's exactly
feels
what it looks
like
like.
that.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Because I don't speak the language, but like I definitely speak body language, and these two hate each other.
When Kong walks to the ring,
Ho, ho, ho.
she walks with a purpose.
Yep.
Well, she has to. I mean, you have to know that Kong knows that in her neighborhood, the further down the street you get, the badder it got.
Oh my! Stop it!
God damn it.
Stop it!
Okay, I think I'm done.
Look, it's a
think I'm
long
done
match,
with it,
and there's going to be more references.
Jesus.
So I do love how we get separate entrances for everyone.
Yeah. So Kong comes out as the champion, right? She's composed, she's angry, and intent on causing destruction and pain and carrying a trash can.
Oh, well, she does all those things. But I love that because she walks out, and then Hokuto comes out.
Yeah.
And I got am I watching the wrong match? No, it says Kong and Nakano versus Hokuto and Kandori. But that fucking track every
Yeah.
time. It's the third time we've heard it now.
Hokuto's track is
And every time
incredible.
I'm like, I'm with Spencer. Put that on a playlist. I'm going to go jogging to that tomorrow.
This takes place in the Yokohama Arena with 16,500 fans.
Bad Street,
And they
Yokohama,
were-
Japan.
Are you serious? Are you serious
That
right
was
now?
that was
That was me.
I would like to be very clear. I said I was done, and I stuck by it.
It works. There's enough syllables there to make it work.
16,000 fans losing their minds for Akira Hokuto.
They really are. Oh man.
I believe this was actually billed as Akira's farewell match, if I'm not mistaken. After this, she did leave for CMLL. She returned, of course, but at the time, they may not have known. Like this was very likely they thought this the last time they would see her in AJW. They called this series of matches the Dangerous Queen Final Countdown.
She'd actually go on to have a very brief stint in WCW.
She did, actually. The only ever WCW Women's Champion, right?
Well, basically, she won the belt, and then she went back to Japan and never defended it.
And the belt
it's
is
like,
dissolved.
All right, well, Medusa's going to win it. And then Medusa had like 5 matches, and 2 of them were against men.
Right off the bat, Kandori and Hokuto are not on the same page. And Kong and Nakano make Akira pay for it.
They victimize her. The shots.
I have never seen a better tag out in my entire life. Akira goes over to her corner and fucking smacks Kandori in the face.
Hard.
Your turn, bitch.
Well, you got to remember, this is after she has basically taken the stiffish shots from Kong. And then Nakano comes in and she's like, hey, I hate you.
Yeah, so Shinobu
German
comes
suplex.
in. Shinobu comes in. Immediately, Bull Nakano sort of takes the upper hand.
Oh, no, I love this because Kandori tries to knock her down and she's like,
Exactly.
You got to try harder than that.
Exactly.
And she just starts hitting her harder and she's like, no.
And the thing is you look at Nakano, you look at Kong, and you think they're going to dominate physically this match. At least that's what it looks like. That's what you think. But that doesn't mean that their whole game is ground and pound.
It's not.
Right? It's not long after Kandori enters the ring where Nakano drops Kandori face first with a draping DDT from the top rope.
I love this. I thought she was going to do a slingshot suplex. She kind of does. Like, boing, DDT.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
oh.
gorgeous.
Eat your heart out, Randy Orton. Okay?
And immediately, she goes to the corner, tags in Kong, and Kong nails a head kick.
Oh, man.
Full contact head kick on Kandori, and Kandori is out.
That head kick,
Oh, yeah.
I thought, okay, this match 1 is over. 2, this crowd is losing it. They are just blown away by what they just saw.
Yeah, I feel like the crowd is not too keen on seeing Kandori.
These women are not messing around.
No, they're not.
It's
And
brutal.
I love that.
The outside attendants are nursing Kandori back. She gets back into the ring and is, kind of throws Bull into an armbar before going over to Akira's corner. And notice, I don't say her team's corner. Right. Because they're not a team right
No.
now. It's Akira's corner. where she essentially starts brawling with her own tag team partner.
Yep. There's points where I'm watching the match and I'm just saying, this is pretty much what I was expecting. Although I wasn't smartened up to the fact that Kong and Nakano had like, all right, we're not going to try to kill each other now. We're going to try to kill everybody else now. We've got that out of our systems. Look at these two losers. They can't even tag out without fighting. We got this in the bag.
Yeah, needless to say, it doesn't go over well. Kong drags Hokuto out into the crowd and tosses her over an announce table, stabs her with a barricade.
Yep.
How's that for a barricade spot?
Yeah,
Spencer?
listen.
Attempted murder with a barricade.
I will accept only attempted murder with a barricade. Nothing less.
Then we get what might be my third favorite moment in the history of the podcast.
Uh-oh.
Aja Kong hits not one, not two, not even three, but 5 jumping pile drivers.
Consecutive jumping pile drivers.
And I'm sitting there going, well, that's the end. She does not go for a pin.
Nope.
She tags in Bull Nakano.
Right?
Which thereby utilizes the third teaching of Cobra Kai, which is show no mercy.
There it is again. Nakano continues to work on the neck while she's in there, not allowing Akira any time to recover or get to her corner.
We love a dragon sleeper, first of all.
Yes, we do.
We
Yes.
just love a dragon sleeper. And then to follow that up with some offense like a leg drop, it logically makes sense. And so it just makes me, it's another reason to admire
It's beautiful.
what Bull Nakano is doing in the ring.
It's so
yeah.
genius.
Mhm.
And clearly, Nakano Kong, who is what I'm calling the tag
Love
team,
that.
had a game plan going in. Isolate and decimate the Dangerous Queen.
They basically do, because there's like a good 2 or 3 minutes where Kandori's like, I don't care. We're just watching Hokuto just get, I'm going to say it again, victimized.
Absolutely victimized.
But there was one moment I really want to talk about because, Spencer, you can attest to this. It happened. I had to rewind it and watch it again. Then I paused it, jumped out of the chair, kicked this door down, and said, Landon, when were you going to tell me that Akira Hokuto used my finish?
Oh, yeah. The gut wrench powerbomb.
The sit-out gut wrench. I'm like, oh, my God. I know it's the Queen Bomb. It's slightly different. It's more like it's –
How about you use Akira Hokuto's finish?
okay, that's
There
fair.
you go.
That's
There
fair.
you go.
She
But-
hits 2 dangerous queen bombs
Back to
on
back.
Nakano, seemingly out of nowhere.
Like the first one's going, all right, cool. The second one's like, that's what I used to do.
And when it isn't enough for a 3, she walks over to Kandori, smacks her in the arm to get out of the ring. And what I loved about this moment is this time Shinobu doesn't lose her composure.
No.
She just takes it, she walks right in and goes to work like this is a normal thing, which at this point it is. And you know what? This may be my new favorite tag team of all time. It's just so entertaining to watch.
The fucking odd couple over here.
And what I love about this is that, again, Shinobu has difficulty doing enough damage to Bull Nakano to keep her down.
Oh, I love this. She goes for 3 lariats. And I think every single one she does, Nakano reacts less.
But again, Nakano is able to get the upper hand, goes to tag out, and Kong, again, delivers a strike. It's like they had a system.
They did.
But this
they
time,
definitely did.
But this time, the action stays in the ring with a barrage of kicks to a downed Kandori.
Oh, and those kicks were disgusting.
Well, think about this sequence. I'm just going to walk you through it really quickly, this sequence, right? It starts with that strike, right, when Kong gets into the ring, and then it's followed by a brain buster, and that's when Kandori's down, and it's just being pelted by these kicks from Kong, right? Well, Kong says, I really loved that pile driver earlier, and I did those to Akira, so let me go ahead and do one to you for good measure. So Kandori takes a jumping pile driver, and then...
I thought she was going to do more.
But rather than continuing the assault with pile drivers, decides, let's just torture you. So we're going to put you into a Boston Crab, into an STF
Now
immediately following.
That's an STF.
That is an STF, my friends.
Oh,
And so it goes back to the point that I made earlier that even though Aja Kong and Bull Nakano can physically dominate this match, they don't have to.
no.
Like, they can use the DDTs and the submission moves and show that they are just as skilled technically as Hokuto and Kandori.
And they are firmly in control.
But she does make a mistake at this point. She picks up Shinobu, whips her into the corner, Akira's corner, and Shinobu Kandori kicks Hokuto through the ropes to tag her in. This is just the best.
But it also, I think that speaks to some extent to how in control Kong and Nakano were.
Yep.
Like, if you're afraid of losing control of the match, you don't make that mistake where you throw Kandori into Akira's corner. You don't.
True.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they had just beat down Akira before. So they know they're in control of this match. So I think at this point, they're comfortable with whoever's in the ring because they're dominating.
It's like, bring it on. We got this.
Exactly.
Well, Akira enters the ring and decides it would be a great idea to enter into a test of strength
Bad idea.
with Aja Kong.
Spoiler alert, does not go well for her.
I mean, maybe she was eating her Wheaties that morning, but in my book, that's never a good idea.
No, and then she says, you know what? I'm just going to slap Kong as hard as I can.
Oh, now we enter the slaps giving portion of the contest.
Oh.
Hey, Akira Hokuto wins that battle, actually.
She does,
And-
but the shots that she takes from Kong legitimately frightened me.
Seriously, the loudest, stiffest slaps I've ever seen.
And she says, as my reward for winning this slap fest, I'm going to go ahead and take you outside, if that's okay, and I'm going to pile drive you onto this table.
Yeah, well, you got to get the receipt for the suplex on
Of
the table,
course,
right?
of
And
course,
the
of course.
5 consecutive pile drivers she took
Yeah, so
earlier.
does 5 leaping pile drivers in the ring equal 1 on the table? I
think
don't
so.
know. It's a conversation.
Table doesn't break, though, so yeah.
Oh, meanwhile, back in Shinobu Kandori land, Shinobu takes Bull Nakano all the way to the front of the stage and slams her into the steel entry doors.
I love that.
And let's be clear here, these are like WrestleMania length ramps.
Right.
So they travel. They venture. And now, so at this point, we're about halfway through. We're 17 minutes into this match. And it has been nonstop from beginning to end. And this is what we love about these Joshi encounters, especially in a tag team match like this, is that the action really is seamless pretty much the whole time. But halfway through, this match goes 35 minutes, and I'm exhausted watching. But we're not over yet. It's not over yet. Kong pulls Hokuto back into the ring. So both of those two, they're the legal competitors in the ring, and hits another pile driver on Hokuto in the middle of the ring this time.
Yeah, they're continuing to work over that neck
Exactly.
of Akira Hokuto.
Mm-hmm.
These body presses and follow-up pile drivers, they're not doing her neck any favors at this point.
One thing I think of is the WrestleMania 17 build.
Mm.
My friend China, after I broke your neck. That's all I can think of here.
Right to censor?
Yeah, so that's all I can think about is like they're trying to break her neck.
Enter Nakano, who goes back to the submission game plan. You go
Indian-
back to the game plan.
Indian
Spencer,
deathlock.
you nailed it. You nailed it. It's they're winning this not by brute strength, which they could do.
Right.
They're winning it with their smarts, and they're the more cohesive team.
100%.
Keep Hokuto down and keep changing the hold before she has a chance to counter it.
And what I love is that we get a glimpse of that submission move. The same one that we're going to see 4.5 months from now on Alundra Blaze at SummerSlam.
Oh.
You know the one. Paul, what is this move? Describe it to me.
Okay, so, gosh, it's hard.
I know. We had this conversation when we covered the SummerSlam match.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in the sharpshooter,
Right.
but I'm also going to lift you off the ground
Mm-hmm.
and put you in like an inverted abdominal stretch. And I'm going to put you in a chin lock at the same time.
Yeah. Nakano has
Brutal.
Hokuto suspended, off the mat in the air. And it is just impressive to watch. And so she's able to transition from that move to an inverted figure 4 to a sharpshooter, just like Layden said.
Now
changing these
that's
submissions.
How you lock in the sharpshooter.
Yes, changing these
intensity.
submissions before Hokuto has the ability to figure out an escape from them and keeping control.
The move is called
The Angelito.
The Bulls Angelito.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That's
Paige
absolutely
used to do
right.
it.
And Paige did do it.
That's right.
It is just one of the most brutal submission moves you will ever see.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Just you're in a sharpshooter, and then you get put into a butterfly lock, and sometimes she'd wrap.
That's what it's the butterfly.
Sometimes she'd wrap the arm around the head, or do like almost a Rings of Saturn. I've seen her do before. It's just brutal.
So Bull Nakano in full control, and it seems like it's going to stay that way until she's hung up on the top rope, and she's dangling headfirst onto the apron, and that is where Akira Hokuto has the ability then to finally get a breather and tag in Kandori. Kong gets tagged in as well, so we've swapped those two out. We've got Kong and Kandori as the legal competitors in the ring here.
And in this tag, it's the first moment of the match where they sort of look at each other, and for the first time, you get a glimpse of maybe these two can actually work as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that comes in 20 minutes in.
Yeah, but it's almost like there's almost and like you said, it's this we're locking eyes, we're understanding that, hey, this is not going well for us.
We've got to figure something out.
And we want to win. We want to win. So maybe we can work through this. And you're right, it's a really, really cool moment. And I love that Kandori is able to do this really quick. And it's not a moment that lasts very long, but I think it's so smart. It's this drop toe hold. Really, really quickly.
And she goes like right into a knee bar.
Right into a knee bar. Now, Kong is on the ropes, and so it lasts, all of half a second. But it was just a really smart wrestling move.
Smooth.
And it's so smooth. Kandori's drop toe hold, I was like, okay, I accept this. And now, we're 25 minutes in. And then
we get a very important moment, in my opinion. Kandori is finally able to drop Nakano with a lariat. She's tried several times, and finally she goes down.
Yeah, and what I love here is Nakano gets backed up into her corner, and Aja Kong is there, extending her arm for a tag, and Bull Nakano looks at her and shakes her head no, because that's not the plan. What they've been doing for the past 25 minutes has worked for them, and that has been to keep Hokuto down, and when Kandori's in, Bull out-wrestles Kandori, and then drags her into the corner, and Aja Kong hits a strike. This wasn't the game plan, so Bull wants to prove to herself that, yes, she can out-wrestle the judo master Shinobu Kandori.
Whenever the armbar gets locked onto Aja Kong, Bull Nakano goes up to the top rope for her leg drop. She misses.
She does. She absolutely does. But she gets a second chance.
Oh, she gets a second chance.
She gets a second chance and is able to hit it on Hokuto.
Oh, takes her, almost decapitates her.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, she's clearly dead when this match is over. But Bull picks her up for a
power bomb
and follows it up with a Bull's Poseidon, which is an extremely dangerous move.
Yep.
Where you have them up over your head for sort of an Alabama slam position, but instead of driving your opponent forward, you just drop to your knees.
Yeah.
Which isn't that more or less what Hangman Page does?
Yeah, Deadeye.
It's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like
very
Deadeye.
similar.
That's a great way to sort of visualize it for sure.
But it's not enough to put Hokuto away on this occasion. She goes back to the well with the diving leg drop, and it's still not enough. And that's when Kong hits the Brett Rope Splash, like Paul would call it. Still not enough. Oh,
no.
Okay. How about Power Slam? Still not enough.
Well, and I think what I love here is not only do we get this incredible Power Slam, but when Hokuto's running the ropes, you can tell she's winded.
Yeah.
It's definitely a like, I almost can't take this Irish whip, but it just speaks to how well Hokuto is selling, how just, emaciated at this point she is.
She's been the target of the damage. I think they recognized which one of the two was the more dangerous one, and it was the dangerous queen.
Right. Right.
Kong goes to set up Hokuto in the top rope, and that opens up immediately an opportunity for Akira to take the offense, and she goes for the sunset flip powerbomb and tags in Shinobu, who gets instantly double-teamed by Nakano.
Oh, she gets a lariat to the front and the back of the head.
I mean, she is squished.
Yep.
Oh.
But she's able to escape. Akira is able to come in to distract Kong, and when she does,
big moment.
Shinobu Kandori locks in the sleeper. And let me tell you something. I have never been more excited about a sleeper in my whole life.
God.
Everyone in that arena was going bananas.
It was the first time in this match where you thought they could win.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the very first time. That sleeper hold was like, oh, shit.
Here we go.
It could happen.
But, of course, Bull breaks it up, and we're back to square one again. Kandori tags in Hokuto, and this is a legit tag this time.
Exactly. Cannot overstate the story that says right there. And we're half an hour in. We're at our 30-minute mark.
Exactly. Aja
So-
Kong damn near takes her head off.
Oh,
though.
we get 1, 2, 3 spinning back fists.
Yep.
And not to be outdone by that, she says, you know what? I did a really dangerous move in the ring. Now I'm going to do it off the top rope.
Bull dives outside to Kandori as Kong sets up Hokuto on the top rope and falls with Hokuto for what almost looks like an avalanche Poseidon.
I
Oh, my
know.
word. Yeah.
It was horrible. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to kill her.
And you think the ball game.
Ball game.
Ball
Has
game.
to be.
Ball game.
But at 2.995, Kandori breaks the pin up. And honestly, that's something that you almost, 10 minutes ago in this match, you think wouldn't even happen.
Mm-mm.
Kandori maybe wouldn't break up that pin. Or
Right.
Hokuto maybe wouldn't break up that pin if Kandori was getting pinned. But they have a common goal now. And so Kandori does step in, and the match continues.
And it's at this point when Bull Nakano pulls off something I don't think I've ever seen before in pro wrestling. She Irish whips both Kandori and Hokuto at the same time. But she's the one that gets caught in a double submission before Kong tosses out Hokuto.
I thought that was it. Like,
The
this
double
is it.
submission.
This is
Yeah,
it.
they
This
give
is
you
it.
another moment
Come
of,
on.
wait a minute. They're working as a cohesive unit?
Yep.
And a backdrop on Shinobu Kandori looks like it could be the end. But Kandori slips out of the pin, and when she does, Kong locks in a sleeper as payback.
Mm-hmm.
But Akira Hokuto hits a top rope drop kick, baby.
She sure does. One of the best in the business.
Absolutely right.
And
Finally,
then she does a fucking flip senton from the top rope to the outside onto Bull Nakano.
Oh, so good.
And I'm like, what is this match?
oh, it's excellent.
Oh, and then the Northern Lights bomb.
The Northern Lights bomb. Back in the ring, Kong is out. Akira hits the Northern Lights bomb on Aja Kong. Honestly, Northern Lights bomb, most devastating move I think I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
entire life.
Not only does she does it,
If I
she-
had to pick one,
well,
it would
she
be that.
well, she hits one on Nakano, then she gets in the ring, does one on Aja Kong. It's like, no, I'm gonna do a second one. Then I'm gonna do an inverted one.
And you can hear the exasperation from the commentary team. Like, how do they keep calling this crazy, crazy war?
I don't know, but they are having a damn good time doing it.
Kong gets up with enough left in the tank to land a German suplex on Akira Hokuto, backhands Kandori, but then gets caught in, as Paul said, the combination Northern Lights bomb, inverted Northern Lights bomb combo. And finally, mercifully, Aja Kong is down for the count, and the unlikely team of Akira Hokuto and Shinobu Kandori have conquered the most dominant team in AJW history.
They've beaten the two kaijus.
Just over 35 minutes bell to bell. But the moment afterward, with the acknowledgement from Shinobu Kandori, it just kind of puts a whole bow on this story.
I want to point out, though, the match ends. The only person who's able to stand up on their own is Shinobu Kandori. Everybody else is down, being tended to by the trainers.
Yeah.
Everybody. She's the only one who's like, this is easy for me.
Well, she's got a tea time after. So, what?
Damn it. I thought we were done with this.
So, what does that moment mean, Landon? That post-match moment between Kandori and Hokuto. What do you think that means?
I don't hate you that as much.
It's the respect of a warrior.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They
She's-
went through a battle together. And what I loved there is it wasn't just the respect between Akira Hokuto and Shinobu Kandori. The respect between all of the performers. coming off of one of the most intense matches you could ever hope to see.
I don't know. I don't want to say all of them because Kandori acknowledges them all, but when the moment to, okay, help her up, shake the hand, nope, fuck you, I'm going back to LPW.
Well, there's a little bit of that there.
There
but
is.
if you consider everything that they had been through up to that point.
Oh, I do.
And how their relationship was in the beginning parts of the match.
Yeah. I mean,
this was miles of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it went from, like, I want to kill you to, you're not so bad. Not helping you up. And I'm leaving, going back to my company.
But that you're not so bad is everything.
But for me, the big moment is whenever Kong gets on the mic, and once again, I don't speak the language, but I understand passion, and the fact that everybody, including the commentary, stood up and started applauding when she was done speaking shows that, oh, she essentially just said, all right, Hokuto, you truly are the queen.
And I do think that it's something like this. Again, we don't have the Japanese translation. However, the story here is Akira Hokuto just pinned the WWWA World Champion. And although she's leaving, there will always be that what if. See, Hokuto never claimed that prestigious red belt. She never won it, not once in her career. But on that night, she could have.
Yep.
And that's the story.
And my personal favorite moment of the entire match, after they're done with their speeches, Bull Nakano stands up and she bows to Akira Hokuto.
Oh.
Let me tell you a quick story, and this actually ties in, but it's one of my favorite things ever, is Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters golf tournament this past year, 2021. I'm tying in professional golf again.
Again? Yeah.
But one of the images out of that tournament, like maybe the image out of that tournament, was his caddy bowing to the golf course after he made the final putt to win. And so that's what it instantly reminded me of. It's just a respect for the game, and it's a respect for your competitors, and it's a respect for what you were able to accomplish. And
respect for the queen.
Yeah, and I just love it. I just love it. It just says everything to me in both of these instances. So, favorite moment, the bow.
That's my favorite moment.
Yeah.
Because, we just watched her and Kong try to break her neck, destroy every joint in her body.
Yeah.
And then it's so simple, but, in Japanese culture, the bow is just such an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, for her to do that was there's a lot of fucking respect coming from her right now.
Absolutely. I think I have two.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Well, that the Angelito.
And, there's just so much going on. But first of all, the moment where Bull Nakano refuses to tag out.
Yeah.
She's clearly losing in this battle, but she has too much pride to not stick to the game plan. I absolutely loved it. And you know what? That's just going to be my number one.
There it is.
That's
there
fair.
it is. When Kandori locks in that sleeper.
Yeah. That was my other one.
It just, there you go.
Because I didn't want to take yours. I knew what it would be.
Oh gosh. And
it's huge. It's such a big moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it being the sort of the turning point of the match where you start believing in the team that didn't believe in themselves.
Well said. Very well said. Again, we implore you. This match is on the YouTube. Please do yourself a favor and watch it if you have not seen it already. This is a match that won in a poll. It was a very, very tight race on both Twitter and Patreon. And what came out on top. That's why we're covering it.
Yeah,
this
it won
week.
both polls.
Yeah, it did.
Both were close, but this one, it won both. I'm like, well, we're doing it.
Yeah, so really, really great match, worth looking into. And we're about to tell you how good it is because we're going to rank it on our list of the 75 greatest wrestling matches of all time.
That's it, guys. I think 75. This is going to be our last episode. 75. That's enough for me. You know what I mean?
There are a couple glaring omissions from our list that I think would get some people upset.
Listen, we actually reached out to a professional in the field, and by professional I mean the resident super fan, Deadly Pudding. Who has helped us out with Japanese wrestling in the past.
So good.
And we are super grateful for Deadly Pudding and all of his help and his support as a listener and as a friend. So let's go ahead and listen right now to what he had to say before we share our rankings.
Hey guys, it's Deadly Pudding. Thank you again for asking me to look into this match and give you my thoughts on it. There's so much intensity and hatred from all four women. Of course, Kong and Nakano had a previous rivalry before, but they worked pretty well together, and Hokuto and Kandori slapped the shit out of each other for every single tag in and out of this match. I mean, head drops galore, stiff strikes before. I mean, Kong at one point pile drives Hokuto 5 times in a row, and then adds another 3 throughout the rest of the match. And Hokuto has to take 3 Northern Lights bombs to even put down Aja Kong at the end of the match. It's crazy. It's insane. But I don't think it quite lives up to the other AJW tag classics. And it's fun, but it's not super a lot of stakes here. There's no belts involved. So it kind of hurts the ranking a little bit for me. My gut said 47, and that sounds good. Puts it into the new spot where Mick Foley and Edge previously was, and that feels good to me. Thanks, guys, for giving me a chance to do this, and keep doing what you're doing, releasing great podcasts. Thanks again.
All right.
Deadly Pudding, man, we just appreciate that very much, and truly appreciate your insight. This is a world, and something that we harp on a lot with this show is trying desperately to expand our wrestling horizons and expand the horizons of our listeners as well. And so we have no qualms about turning to these fans of this part of wrestling that we are not as well versed in. And so obviously, really, really grateful for your input there. And you touched on some really great things, the intensity and the hatred between, these 4 competitors, whether they have that for each other during the match or in previous feuds. But an interesting point about the stakes of the match as well.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about it from that perspective, but if you want to talk about hatred, you know what match I think of when 2 guys that hate each other? I think Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA.
Yeah.
Because that was a real life, legitimate, these 2 hate each other.
And for reference, T.A. Blanchard is currently at number 20 on our list.
And, part of me is I don't know if I necessarily want to go quite to number 20, but when I think about tag team matches, I think this is definitely the best one we've done. We've done a few. This might be the best one. The only other tag match that's even close to that ranking would be Love Machine and Eddie versus Dos Santo and Octagon.
Sure,
that's,
right there.
That's currently number 26.
Yeah.
Even though that match probably has bigger stakes, I love this. So right now, me personally, my ranking is going to be somewhere between that 20 to 27 or 28, somewhere in that range. Because also, when you talk about hard hits, Shibata and Ishii, that's still the hardest hitting match we've ever seen in our lives.
Hard as it gets.
But I have a difficult time going a little bit higher than 20 because that's when we really start getting into, all right, now you have to start nitpicking because once you get in that top 20, it's so difficult to rank anything in there.
It really is. You have so many things in there for so many different
reasons.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about all this matches that have the stakes, Jesus Christ, everything pretty much from 15 up is about as high as the stakes get.
I want to talk about that for a second because I think it's a fair point, but this is a story that can only be told in a tag team match.
Yes, it can.
Which I think is a very special thing.
I agree.
And it has a tremendous amount of history to it, although not for a championship, right? If we're talking about stakes. And this is the most prestigious championship in women's wrestling. It's very much at the center of this conflict. No, it's not on the line, but it's all about the title, regardless of if it changes hand in the match.
Well, probably the biggest thing about this match is that the undefeated world title holder is pinned by a retiring wrestler.
Right. So what does that mean? It's sort of a really intriguing moment in the history of pro wrestling.
That's another reason why, even if it might have the stakes, like, that's a big deal.
And in addition to that, this match settled the rivalry between Hokuto and Kandori and arguably cemented Akira as the greatest in AJW.
I mean, she's on a short list of greatest wrestlers of all time. And I'm not just talking women's wrestlers. I mean wrestlers.
So for me, it's going to go higher than that. I would put it somewhere between, I'm looking at the 24-25 area.
You're right in the middle of my range, bro.
Maybe all the way up to a 15. Because how can you tell me that the unbreakable triple threat between Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels accomplished more? I don't know. It's arguable. You know what I mean?
Well, that one's weird because that is like the first true, like, look what the X division can be. And I feel like this match isn't saying, look what women's wrestling can be. It's not even saying, look what AJW can be. This match is, look what happens when you put the most dominant tag team ever against two people that fucking hate each other.
And it was a really intriguing moment. And I think as many times as that story has been told, this is the best.
I mean, I've seen people try to do that, and then I've seen these four do it.
That's an interesting point, though, that it is a story that's not unique necessarily. And yes, do they do it exceptionally well? Absolutely. But the Can We Coexist is a meme at this point,
Yeah.
So
it wasn't a meme in 1992.
No, it wasn't.
Or
it
four,
wasn't.
Excuse me.
It wasn't, and I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying the Unbreakable match that you referenced, I think carries some weight because that match was in 2005 for a company that's still around, it to some variation, right? And it's still the match we go back to as maybe the match of that division of that federation's history.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That is on the short list of top. I just say Impact matches. It's like, I think it's like one of their best.
Yeah, and so I think there's value there, and it's obviously got three complete legends of the game,
and
just like this match.
And they all have completely different styles. No pun intended.
Just like this match has legends of the game, right?
I think they're absolutely 100% comparable. I don't know which one I go higher with. Is where I'm struggling here. I would put this above Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay. I would put this above Walter and Tyler Bate. I don't know if I go to 16 or go higher. I really don't know if I put this higher than like 15. Like,
what are you thinking, Spencer?
I'm not as high as you guys. Ultimately, I think there's a lull in this match for a bit.
There is,
which a match needs that. Like, I'm not saying that that's that really weighs it down.
And because I basically watched this match 1.5 times. The lull is where I unfortunately had to stop watching it before I picked up. When I picked up, I started from the beginning, and going back through it, especially since I had pretty much watched about half of it and then went back and watched the entire thing. The lull is where all the story is told. There's so much going on in the lulls because
I see y'all keep saying lull. I didn't notice the lull in this match.
It's literally it's like 2 minutes tops. But
I disagree. I just disagree.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, and I'll tell you why. It's the Kong and Nakano are dominating part of the match where Hokuto is being
destroyed.
Being
that
destroyed.
Happens. It does happen
for an extensive period of time.
And in that moment, I agree with Paul. That's the story being told.
I understand their story being told there, and I think
and
I realize that is part of it. It's just not interesting to me the same level.
In my personal opinion, I think the match is about 10 minutes too long.
And that is a common criticism of this match, and I think that's part of what Deadly Pudding was trying to hint at, in that there are other tag team matches in AJW that don't have that criticism.
Yeah.
So for me,
that's why originally my range was about 10 points lower, like in the mid-20s opposed to the
He's going to go way lower than 10 points lower.
So for me, not knowing what's on our horizon in terms of what we're going to cover with our next 25 matches and beyond, I want to leave some room for potential other of these tag series that we have not quite discovered yet.
We're probably going to watch at least one or two.
I want to leave some room, personally. So I'm not 47. Like, I'm not down there.
Nah.
But I will say that I am in the top 30 for sure.
Okay.
Like I think I am past Goldberg, DDP. For
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
I would probably stick it personally at 25.
25.
I do think it's
That's
I
right
think
in
it's
the
the
middle.
best tag match on our list. So I think it deserves to go over all the others, which we mentioned before.
Yeah,
the
our
Triple A tag
Love
is
Machine, yeah,
26.
The 26, yeah.
So I'm going to go above that. I'm going to go above Eddie and Ray at WrestleMania 21. But I'm going to stick it right there below Angle and Joe.
Angle and Joe. Whoa.
Because I think these two matches share intensity.
Yeah.
Like Joe and Angle, as intense as it gets. And this match is similar in that regard.
I completely agree. I think on my list it would be
a little bit higher.
I would put it one higher. I would put it right above Angle and Joe
Angle and
if
Joe?
it were my list. But I totally see what you mean, and I think I really appreciate the expert opinion that Deadly Pudding
For
came
sure.
with.
For sure. And I think that erring on the side of lower just gives us some space.
Oh, I agree 100% because the minute he's like, there's other matches in this series, I'm like, there is?
Well, and we know, like we know that this is
I
not
need
the
more.
only Joshi tag that's been
absolutely.
recommended to us. So we're aware of those things, but this is what was on the poll, and this is what won the poll, right?
I also feel like the reason why this one got thrown as much as it is because they know how much we love Akira Hokuto.
And we do.
Big fan.
And
It's
we
like her
do.
third appearance, and it will not
Big
be her
fan.
last.
So, Paul, is this match 24 or match 25? Does it go above or below Angle Joe?
That's so difficult because like Angle Joe, that is my shit.
Yeah.
That is what I come to wrestling for.
Uh-huh.
But damn, this was such a good match.
I personally, I'm happy putting it over if you feel like that's the way it should be.
It's just that one. That one, like I said earlier, that really comes into nitpicking. The Angle and Joe. My only real criticism I have is that it's too short. It's like 9.5 minutes. It's very short. It's a short match that should have gone on, not for 35 minutes, but I think it should have gone on for another 5.
Well, and it's part of a trilogy of great
It
matches.
is. But that might be their best. Although I don't know, that lockdown match is really good. Yeah, I put it at 24. I would put it right above Kurt and Joe, just for the fact that it's not the beginning of a trilogy, that they don't have to hold anything back. And as much as I love Kurt and Joe, they do hold a little bit back because they know we're going to have a couple more of these. So for that, I would put it at 24.
24?
Agreed.
Okay. I do think y'all thought I was going to say something like 50 based
No,
off
no,
of
no,
the
no,
hesitation there. And I loved this match, and I hate being the one sometimes. It's never easy, like between the three of us, whichever one of us is the lowest. Like that's a tough spot to be in
Well,
because because inevitably when you defend your position, it sounds like you hate the match, which is not in any case true.
Well, if we
It
hated the
can't
match,
be.
we
There
wouldn't
are
be talking about it.
75 exceptional
Right.
matches on this list.
Right.
We have to split hairs.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
That's why I really hate when we start getting into like the lower 20s and the teens. Like, oh, damn it, you're putting me on a spot here. It's like I have to nitpick.
It's really tough.
And it's like just now. It's like as much as I love Kurt and Joe, I can nitpick that match. I can nitpick this one too. But I feel like this one accomplishes what it set out to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not that said that Kurt and Joe didn't. I just feel like that's the beginning of a feud.
Yeah, it's
So they hold back.
very different
That's fair.
things.
That's
There
totally
is
fair.
nothing held back in this match, and I love them for it.
75 episodes in, this match reaches the top third
Oh man,
at 24.
I
That's
wouldn't
impressive.
have it another way.
Yeah, that feels really good.
I've made no secret that Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto are two of my all-time favorite wrestlers. That did not influence my ranking, but I love these two women. I have yet to see a match. That's not entirely true. I have yet to see a match featuring both of them that I did not absolutely love. We did find a Bull Nakano match that I was like, ooh, I don't know about that one. But here's 10 more that are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so
Hey,
yeah.
do yourselves a favor, guys, listening. Go watch this match. And then let us
Absolutely.
know. Let us know how you feel about our 24 ranking.
And if you hate it, well, that's your opinion, man. Start your own podcast.
higher or lower, let us know. We'd love to hear that. We have just 5 episodes left in season 4. We're not quite ready to start teasing the finale yet.
Oh, I totally am.
I know you're ready, but we are not quite ready, I don't think. Should we?
Yeah.
We have a phone call to make,
Yeah, we sure do.
and I'll just leave it at that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, I can't wait for the rest of this season. Oh, man.
I don't know. I feel like we could do one better than that, Landon.
Oh, you think so?
Oh.
I do.
Well, until episode 76. I'm Spencer.
I'm Paul.
I'm Landon.
And this is Last Match Standing.